And Tommy Tuberville, a great coach. You know, his quarterback was named Mahomes. He was a great college coach. And I said, how good was he? He said, you don't want to know how good. He made me into a great coach. He's pretty good quarterback, right? Yeah, he was very good.
Tuberville was never Patrick Mahomes' coach. Never, not once. Never happened. I don't know why he said that, but I can't imagine what Senator Tommy Tuberville was thinking when Trump looked at him and asked him that question. So why does he do this? Why does he do this, Waz? Like, why does he feel the need to cite one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL?
So what happened is that Tommy Tuberville was once the coach at Texas Tech. I had to make sure of this because he got famous basically coaching at Auburn University, a big university in Alabama. They basically generally play second fiddle to the Crimson Tide, Alabama. But Auburn is their big rival. He won a championship there, got put on the map, et cetera, et cetera. Then he moved on, and then at one point he ended up coaching at Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. And Patrick Mahomes went to Texas Tech University, but he was not coached by Tommy Tuberville when he was there. So in fairness to Trump, yes, Tommy Tuberville once coached at the university that Pat Mahomes attended, but at no point did they interlap. No, he got that completely and utterly wrong. He never coached the great Pat Mahomes, not at Texas Tech or anywhere else.
Jesus Christ. So Patrick Mahomes, hold on. So Tuberville coached Kansas City Chiefs quarter. Okay, no, he didn't. Okay, so Tuberville did coach at Texas Tech. You're right about that. Additionally, there were claims that Tuberville once stated he recruited Patrick Mahomes to play at Texas Tech. But guess what? That was also a false claim. It was debunked by Cover 3 podcast. They stated during the time of recruitment, Texas Tech was recruiting another quarterback named DJ Gillen. You familiar with that guy?
No, definitely not. Nope.
Mahomes was not recruited by Texas Tech until a month after Tuberville left the school for the University of Cincinnati, and Gillen decommitted from Texas Tech. So Trump is a big fan of Patrick Mahomes, apparently, who stated today that it will be cool that the president will be at the Super Bowl Sunday.
His wife is known to be a big MAGA, so we can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we can safely assume that Mahomes is at the very least he's MAGA adjacent, which again, Texas person, or he might be from Oklahoma. Where's Mahomes from? Yeah, he's from Texas, White House, Texas. We should not be surprised that a Texan is Republican. It's a deeply red state. Even somebody who is of mixed race, like Patrick Mahomes, it should not be surprising that he's a Republican, and his wife, who is, a blonde white woman from Texas. We should safely assume that person is going to be Republican. And I think Mahomes is literally just because he's half black, people are shocked that he might be a Republican. But guys, we need to stop with the feigning couches that Republicans exist in this country. Don't y'all see elections? People are Republican. It is what it is. We may not be Republicans. We might find them to their policies to be detestable, but half the country are Republicans, and so it is what it is. So you shouldn't be surprised when Pat Mahomes thinks that it's cool that his president that he probably supported is going to be at the big game. It is what it is, guys.
It really is what it is. And in fact, I mean, I don't assume anything when it comes to people based on what their race is, especially right now when it comes to Black men. I mean, more and more Black men voted for Trump the second time around. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but on YouTube, there are a lot of like Black male content creators who are specifically doing like conservative content.
Oh, yeah.
And I like watching some of them just to hear their perspective because I want to understand their rationale, what it is about Trump and MAGA that appeals to them. And I wish Democrats did that, like Democratic politicians did that, because I think that they're sharing honest opinions that could help Democrats do a little bit of self-reflection. Look, people get really touchy about this. I don't think they should. Men feel rejected from the Democratic Party. Like masculinity overall is something that they feel Democrats do not celebrate, do not want. So if you identify as a masculine male, well, you have one party, the Republicans, who celebrate you, and then you have Democrats who are like, ooh, that's toxic. We don't want that. Like there has to be some way of handling that issue because it's an issue.
Guys, if folks gotta just like be honest about elite liberal culture. This messaging of generally men bad, men are the problem, men are the issue, patriarchy being the root cause of every single thing that's ever been messed up. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying the people who identify as men a lot of them are going to receive that message and react negatively towards it. That's just true. I'm not saying whatever, like that people are wrong for their analyses in terms of the patriarchy or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not here to adjudicate that. I'm just telling you that message out of elite liberal culture, whether that be Hollywood, whether that be elite media, whether that be universities, all institutions that, has liberal elite hegemony, meaning there's no influence from cultural conservatives. They don't have power, they don't have influence in what gets put out in Hollywood, the cultures at elite universities, and anything else, right? And so like when the message is like, kind of anti-men and all of that, like a lot of people are hearing it and react badly towards it.
Yeah,
it's just the truth.
I think the distinction is, and this kind of happened with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett as she responded to a recent Trump administration hire of a white supremacist, right? She was responding to some of the disgusting things he was saying, but in responding, she kind of said something that demonized white men in general. Yeah, and I think what's important is don't make the generalizations. It is okay to call out specific toxic behavior, but make it clear that you're not making a general statement about all men, right? And I think the lack of specificity and not being careful has led to this culture among liberals that has been repellent, to a lot of young men.
If we're gonna pretend that the message out of elite liberal culture has not been for years, like, white men, like that's been the messaging, loud and clear from all of the elite cultural institutions. That has been the messaging. And then by proxy, it's like men, like that's been the messaging and it's been received by people quite poorly. Again, like I'm not here to adjudicate like whether men have been horrible throughout history. I'm not gonna disagree with you on that, but there's a difference between going from acknowledging those truths to a messaging to a broader audience that I think there's a certain disconnect, or at least has been in the last, I would say at least 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, I agree with you. On the other hand, I love men. Men are great. I married one, sleep next to him every night.
Well, Anna, that's because you're a pick-me. Don't you know that?
I'm a lot of things. I'm a lot of things according to a lot of people. Considering the fact that I consistently say things I really think that turn a lot of people off, calling me a pick-me doesn't really make a lot of sense, but okay.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.